Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back to our Risale-i Nur lecture series. This is the 12th month of season 1. Inshallah, we are gonna continue with season 2 from October onward. So for the first season, I kind of wanted to introduce Risale-i Nur in general, make a few selections, and start reading and discussing Bediüzzaman Said Nursi's writings. And if you have watched the previous videos, probably you have noticed that we haven't fully covered the entire chapters. Probably for season 2, we are gonna deep dive, revisit some of the topics we discussed and we sort of summarized and made an introduction to, and go into more text analysis. But as I said, the purpose of season 1 was to make a general introduction and encourage people to go access the resources and do their own reading. So the last lesson of season 1, which is today, September the 10th, is the deceits of devils. So there are, according to Bediüzzaman, there are 6 tactics that devil deploys to deceive practicing believers. So let me share my screen so that you can keep an eye on the actual text. As I said many times, we want to direct your attention to the text rather than the speaker. So this is the 29th letter. Remember, letters is the name of the book. So there are 3 major books that Bediüzzaman published. There are many, but the main spine is the words, the letters, and the flashes. Rather unconventional names, I give you that. But these are the names he chose for his books. Because he's written so many chapters and sections, in most of his writings, he followed like a mathematical index. For example, the piece we're gonna look at today is the deceits of devil or stratagems of devil, but it appears as the 6th section, which is the 6th treatise. This is the chapter title. Because there are so many chapters, so many subtitles, and Bediüzzaman follows these mathematical indexing. However, when I compiled this reader many years ago, it is called Selected Readings from Risale-i Nur. What I did, I tried to rename the chapters. For example, this chapter I called Deceits of Devil. The original term is stratagem, but I tried to make the text accessible to modern readership. That's why I sort of chose simpler terms. I've been living in Britain for like quarter of a century. If I go out and ask an English person what stratagem is, probably he wouldn't know. But deceit is more familiar. So if you can see, Bediüzzaman says stratagem. In original, it is called decise. So stratagem or deceit of devil in original is decise-i şeytaniye. Okay? And also this Risale, he refers to hücumat-ı sitte, the 6 attacks. Okay, right. Without further ado, let's crack on. This was written to warn students and servants of the Quran so that they should not be deceived. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. and incline not towards those who do wrong, or the fire will seize you. This is a Quranic verse, I think Surah Al-Hud. Yeah, Hud. God willing, this sixth section will confound six stratagems, six tactics of Satan's among jinn and men, and block up six of their ways of attack. So I'm gonna basically bullet point these six attacks, then we're gonna go into them and try to understand how Bediüzzaman explains them. To do that, I'm not gonna scroll on the screen because I got this in this book. The first stratagem, the first satanic tactic that Shaitan deploys against believers is desire for rank and position, desire to be seen, desire to be above others, desire to be the lead or head of something. This is the first tactic. We're going to look into that in a minute. I'm just going through those six tactics. The second satanic tactic is fear. It is being afraid of stuff, fear. The third satanic tactic, the stratagem, is greed, wanting more and more and more of everything. The third satanic stratagem, second is fear. The third is greed. The fourth is racism. Remember, this piece was written in 1934, 90 years ago, when we had, in the US at least, front section of the bus is designated for white people, back is for black people. I have been to Chicago. There is this museum, and there are water fountains for white people and colored people. And this is the 20th century. We had segregation in the US and even South Africa until, I don't know, late 20th century. So if you put recent history into perspective, this is quite ahead of its time. Written in 1934, and Nursi says racism is a satanic tactic. So the fourth one is racism. The fifth tactic is egotism, selfishness. And the last one is laziness. So these are the six satanic stratagems, tactics that are used by devil. Let's look at the first one. How desiring for rank and position could be used by Shaitan against believers. So let's dive into the first tactic, the first stratagem. In consequence of the instruction they have received from Satans among the jinn, human Satans want to deceive by exciting the desire for rank and position the self-sacrificing servants of the party of the Quran, that is us, and to make them give up their sacred service and elevated jihad struggle of the word. It is as follows. Present in most people is a hypocritical desire to be seen by people and hold a position in the public view. This is Instagram generation. Everybody wants to be liked and followed, and people take pride of those numbers. Everybody wants to be ahead of everybody else. So everybody want to be in the public view, which is ambition for fame and acclaim and self-advertisement. I think Bediüzzaman saw Instagram generation 90 years in advance. It is present to a lesser or greater extent in all those who seek this world. The desire to accomplish this ambition will drive a person to sacrifice his life, even. You have seen some YouTubers dying because they want to pull a stand. Is the stand? Stunt. Yeah, stunt. So they want to do this crazy stunt. They got crippled. They even die for fame because they want to be famous. Such ambition is exceedingly dangerous for those who seek the hereafter. That's us. And even for those who seek this world, it is a rough road. It is also the source of many bad morals and is man's greatest weakness. You go up to somebody, we say, if you do this and that, we're gonna make sure you're gonna be famous, you're gonna have millions of followers, you're gonna have so many likes. And I'm so surprised how big of a deal this is. You know, each time you watch a video, they say like and subscribe and interact. Tell us what you think. Tell us where you're watching us from because they want this interaction. So the software algorithm puts them on top. It is madness. I have been this YouTube lecturing for a long, long time because I do this for a higher purpose. I thought maybe it's one person. We got 8.5 billion people. Maybe one person who is interested in Risale-i Nur. Maybe he has heard of Bediüzzaman Said Nursi and he wants to hear something from him. Maybe he bumps into this video, watches it, and benefits from it. That's my purpose. That's why I find a bit awkward. I never say, oh, like and share and stuff. No, I don't care. But fame is nothing to me for my purpose. But it is a big, big deal for everybody else. Okay. A person only has to gratify this ambition to gain control over someone and drove him to himself. It ties the man to him and he is overcome. My greatest fear for my brothers is that the atheists may take advantage of this weak vein of theirs. It has caused me much thought, for they did attract in this way some unfortunates who were not truly friends, drawing them into dangerous situation. My brothers and friends in the service of the Quran. That's our job. That's our job. That's what we do. We are the students of the Quran. Bediüzzaman says he used the term shakirt, which literally means student, which means us, students of the Quran. Quran is a school, Risale-i Nur is a classroom, Bediüzzaman is a teacher. He is teaching us to understand and practice the Quran. So in a way, we are all students of the Quran. We are shakirt. O brothers and friends in the service of the Quran, say the following to the secret agents of the cunning worldly or the propagandists of the people of misguidance or the students of Satan, for they all try to deceive you by exciting the desire for rank. Tell them, firstly, we are not after fame. We don't care what worldly people tell us. We don't care what YouTube tells about us, where on the listing they put us. We don't care. What we care is divine pleasure. the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala. Rızayı ilahi, that's the original term. Divine pleasure. Divine pleasure, the favors of the merciful one, and dominical acceptance are a position so high that beside them the attention and admiration of men are worthy visually nothing. To receive divine mercy is sufficient. So this is our factory setting as Risale-i Nur students, as Quran students. We don't care what the world thinks. We care what Allah thinks about us. We care about rızayı ilahi, divine pleasure. We ask this question: is Allah happy with what I'm doing? Is Allah happy with me? We are seeking divine pleasure. If it is your mindset, Shaitan will not come up to you and deceive you by offering a worldly position. We say, I don't care. You can offer me the presidency. You can offer me to become a YouTube star. You can offer me to be head of something. I don't care. Because we are not really interested in this world. We are interested in attaining divine pleasure, checking if God is happy with us. That's what we are after. So to fend off this first tactic is adjusting your mindset. What is my purpose in this life? To gain higher position in public life, or to gain higher position in the regard of Allah Ta'ala. So we care about the second one. We care what Allah thinks about us. That's why for a good student of the Quran, this tactic shouldn't work. For it is extinguished at the door of the grave, so is worth nothing. We really don't care. If the desire for rank and position, this is the first satanic tactic, cannot be silenced and eliminated, well, it's in human nature. People want to be famous. People want to be seen. It is in the factory settings of every human beings. And it is very difficult to neutralize it. Some spiritually progress individuals, they pass that point, they really don't care. But great majority of ordinary people have this psychological status. They want a bit of a fame. They want to be higher up on the list. But if someone says, if this desire for rank and position cannot be silenced and eliminated, it should be directed towards something else, as in the following comparison. The emotion may have a licit side if it is for reward in the hereafter, or with the intention of being prayed for or making one's work effective. So how can we, if we can neutralize this feeling, how can we redirect for better? This is a very good strategy. So this person is very strong. You put him to do something physical. If this person is soft-spoken, very peaceful, you've put him in charge of peace negotiation. If this person has a good business set, you put him in charge of business negotiation. If this person is very technical, you put him in charge of building infrastructure. So you look at the quality trait of the person and you deploy him in the right field. So this person has desire for rank and position. There should be a way we should deploy this person for a better use. Let's look at these examples. For example, at a time, Hagia Sophia Museum Mosque, it's a big Byzantine church in Istanbul. When Istanbul was conquered, it was converted into a mosque, but the original name were kept. Hagia Sophia, Ayasofya in Turkish. At a time, Hagia Sophia Mosque is filled with eminent and blessed people, virtuous and excellent. One or two idle youths and immoral loafers are hanging around the entrance, while next to the windows, a few Westerns, Europeans, are watching for amusement. A man enters the mosque and joins the congregation, then recites a passage from the Quran beautifully in a fine voice. The gazes of thousands of people of truth are turned on him, and they gain reward for him through their regard and prayers. This does not please a couple of idle yobos and some heretic loafers and few other Western people. But great majority, probably 99.9% of congregation are very pleased. The guy is reciting the Quran beautifully. If when the men entered the blessed mosque and joined the huge congregation, instead of reciting the Quran, he had shouted out lewd songs and dance and jump up and jumped around, in this case, he would have entertained those shobos and few other people, but 99.9% of congregation would be displeased. So imagine the guy comes in and sings songs and start dancing. It would have made the idle youth laugh, have pleased the dissolute loafers, since it encouraged immorality, and made the Europeans smile mockingly, since they are gratified at seeing any faults in Islam. But it would have attracted looks of disgust and contempt from the vast and blessed congregation. In its view, the man would have fallen to the very lowest of the low. Exactly like this example, the world of Islam and Asia is a huge mosque, and the people of belief and truth within it are the respected congregation in the mosque. The idle youths are the childish psychopaths. The dissolute loafers are those villains who follow Europe and have no nation or religion, while the European spectators are the journalists who spread the ideas, that is atheistic ideas, he means. But remember, this was written in 1934 between the two world wars. So when you see like Europeans, you should understand aggressive atheism, irreligion. So because these days, a lot of Western countries, a lot of European countries are topping the Islamic index. This is very bizarre. So don't take the word Europeans literally as it today. You know, if you can Google the Islamic index, it is not Muslim countries topping the list. It is countries like Norway, Finland, Denmark, Britain, New Zealand. They are topping the list. Muslim countries are really, really bad to be a Muslim. I'm not going to distract you, but you have ChatGPT, you have Google, you can go ahead and search top countries to be a Muslim. It is not Muslim countries, I'm afraid. So don't take this word European literally because, as I said, this is written in 1934 between the two wars, and it means irreligion, atheism, and atheist philosophy. That is what the word actually means. All Muslims, especially the virtuous and perfected ones, have a place in the mosque according to their degree. They are seen and attention is paid to them. If they perform actions and works as taught by the injunctions and sacred truths of the Quran, in accordance with the sincerity and divine pleasure fundamental which are fundamentals of Islam, and if through the tongue of disposition they recite Quranic verses, they will then be included in the prayer. O God, grant forgiveness to all believing men and to all believing women, which is constantly uttered by everyone in the world of Islam. They will have a share of it and will become connected to all the others in brotherly fashion. However, the value of this will not be apparent to some of the people of misguidance who are like harmful beasts, and to some idiots who are like bearded children. Basically, what you do to attain the pleasure of God, Rıza ilahi, may not register much on the social scale. But it doesn't really matter. You know, someone says, oh, you publish a video where you're talking some Risale-i Nur stuff. Yeah, only 80 people watched. Doesn't mean anything. You go watch Funny Cats, it's been watched 14 million times. Does it mean it's more valuable than analysis of the Risale-i Nur, understanding Quran? No, absolutely not. So, it is like entertaining bearded children. Most people, they are like bearded children. You go to social media, you watch the top watch videos and clips, most of them are absolutely stupid stuff. Probably you watch Instagram reels or the shorts. I don't know what they call it on other places, reels. Probably you spend a lot of time watching them. I do. You know, sometimes I don't have solid time block to do anything specific. I'm just watching reels. And trust me, most of them are ridiculous, stupid stuff. Worthless. But real knowledge, real ilm, not many people watch it. So it is like entertaining bearded children. If a man disowns all his forefathers, the source of honor and all the past, the cause of pride and abundance in the spirit, the luminous highways of the righteous predecessors, which they consider to be their point of support. And if he follows his own whims and passions hypocritically, seeking fame and following innovations, he will fall to the very lowest position in the view of all the people of truth and belief. In accordance with beware the insight of the believer, for he sees with the light of God. That's hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him. However common and ignorant a believer may be, even if his mind does not realize it, his heart looks coldly and in disgust on such boastful, selfish men. And so the man, carried away by love of position and rank, and obsessed by the desire of fame, the second man, descends to the very lowest of the law in the view of that numberless congregation. And he gains a temporary, inauspicious position in the view of a few insignificant, mocking, raving loafers in accordance with the Quranic verse. Friends on that day will be foes one to another, except the righteous. He will find a few false friends who will be harmful in this world, torment in the intermediate realm, and enemies in the hereafter. So I'll briefly pause here and tell you about my observation. I'm quite white in Britain. I don't have beard and I look quite flush. Then, because I work, this is not my full-time job. I work for, at the moment, for the government in the UK. So when we have events, etc., it's usually restaurants. So we go for a meal. I say, oh, can we go to this one because there is halal food there? Everybody's shocked. Halal food? Why are you after all halal food? Or sometimes I go to the office, I said, oh, I need a mini break to do my prayer. And a lot of people cannot believe in their ears. Only recently, we were at a hotel and I said, can I have a quiet space because I need to do my prayer? And the guy showed me a place. He didn't believe. He says, what prayer is that? What are you? I said, I'm a Muslim. And they are quite surprised. To me, doing that prayer on time, no matter where I am, is my priority because that's how I attain divine pleasure. Making sure I consume halal food is my priority. I cannot pretend that I am someone else, skipping prayers, pretending I don't care about, halal or non-halal, so that I can mix up with the crowd. I don't care because my priority is this. But I sadly see a lot of fellow Muslims doing the opposite. I mean, when we do, team events, I say, brother, you are brown, you have beard, and your name is Muhammad. Stop acting like you are a white English person. Everybody can see it. Me, maybe I can mix because I look quite white and Western, and I care about what I do, what I eat, how I behave, how I show my identity. I tell people I'm Muslim, I'm practicing, I care about halal, I don't drink alcohol, etc. And this other guy He's acting cool and trying to mix with people. And I said, look, do not look at yourself. Yes, you are pleasing few bearded children, but you are taking yourself miles away from divine pleasure, Rıza ilahi. Look what you're doing. Come to your senses. We are Muslims. We don't hide our identity, although we look quite modern and Western. No, when there is the duty time, you tell the world, okay, I need to go do my prayer. I care about this. I care about eating halal, etc. We cannot pretend we are someone else so that few people may like us. We don't care about this. This example summarizes, I mean, I sort of summarized the example. This person walks into a mosque where we have 99.9% congregation waiting to pray. Only two, three people messing about, bearded children or some atheists, some irreligious people. They are only 0.1%. And this person comes in and instead of reciting the Quran, he pretends he sings and dances. It's exactly like how I summarized. No, we do the things that pleases Allah Ta'ala, not the things which please ordinary people. Okay, I'm conscious of time. I'll accelerate. As for the first man, even he does not expunge the desire for position from his heart, on condition he takes sincerity and divine pleasure as his guiding principles and does not make rank and position his goal, he will attain a sort of spiritual rank. It always reminds me of Sudais, the Imam of Mecca. I listen to him all the time, even on the app, or Shuraim. These are people leading Tarawih prayer, reciting Quran, but they are quite famous. They didn't want to be famous. It came as a byproduct. So what you do to attain divine pleasure may bring you some fame. You can make some internet lectures on some Quranic topics, and suddenly you become a trend, and millions of people may follow you. It's a byproduct. It may happen. We don't seek it, but if it comes, it's a byproduct. It's something minor, fine. So the first person goes in and recites the Quran. Everybody says, MashaAllah, Barakallah. You recite the Quran beautifully. So it does not make rank and position his goal. He will attain a sort of spiritual rank and a glorious one at that, which will perfectly satisfy that desire of his. The man will lose something insignificant, very insignificant, and find in place of it many very valuable and harmless things. Indeed, he will chase away a few snakes and find numerous blessed creatures. He will become close friends with them, or he will ward off stinging wild hornets and attract blessed bees, the sherbet sellers of mercy. He will eat honey at their hands and through their prayers find friends from all parts of the Islamic world through whom his spirit will receive effulgences like the water of Kawthar, and these will pass to his book of good deeds. At one time, not this one. At one time, when through perpetrating a great wrong due to the desire for fame, a little man who was occupying a high worldly position became a laughingstock in the eyes of the world of Islam. I spoke to him, teaching him the meaning of the above comparison. I hit him over the head with it. He was badly shaken, but because I myself had not been saved from the desire for rank and position, my warning did not arouse him. Okay, so I pause here and I'll wrap it up. So let me stop share. The reason I moved fairly slowly, I want to focus on remaining satanic tactics in the coming lectures. The first one was becoming famous, desire for becoming famous. And Bediüzzaman is teaching us a lesson. It is something not nice, try to get rid of it, but great majority of people cannot get rid of it. So you can use it for positive. If you're interested in singing, don't sing. Well, if you still want to sing, sing something positive, Islamic, like Sami Yusuf. I think he's quite famous. Or recite the Quran. If you want to lead people, lead something positive, some positive good activity for the youth, some, scouting or guiding people. So use this desire for something positive if you cannot get rid of it altogether. Another thing I want to mention before I finish this, Risale-i Nur was written 100 years ago, long time ago. It is an oldie Ottoman Turkish. The reason I stick to this translation, which was done by Mary Welt, is because she translated very close to original text. I understand the language is a bit archaic. A lot of young people find it, even in English, fairly difficult. But I stick to this translation because it gives me the same pleasure of reading the original text. In case you develop a taste to read the original, English and original sound very similar, even the sentence structure. So Mary Welt, Şükran Vaide, didn't want to touch the originality. That's why the English is not very modern, sounds a bit archaic. However, in this book that I edited, I took this chapter, made it fairly simple. Or if you want to read the simplest English, you can go ahead with Ali Ünal's translation. I'll stop here. On the next lecture, we are gonna go on the second stratagem. Subhaneke la ilme lena illa ma allamtana inneke entel alimul hakim ve ahiru davahum enelhamdülillahi rabbil alemin. I'll see you on the next lecture. Assalamu alaikum.